Alright, what's up, guys? Corey Margera here, the Lord and Savior of Eternal Coolness. Basically, I just wanted to do a video today talking about one of my favorite TV sitcoms of all time, Married with Children. And the reason I wanted to do a discussion and just like kind of a review on the series in general is because this series, no one talks about it. No one. I mean, whenever I hear about some of the best TV sitcoms of all time, people always talk about Friends, Seinfeld, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, stuff like that. Say even people talk about more about Saved by the Bell, and I'm like, what the fuck? Are you serious? This show deserves more praise than it gets. This show is hilarious. This show is so fucking real too. This show is the best TV sitcom, live action wise. I'm not gonna say animated was, because I'm a huge Family Guy, South Park guy. Huge into a lot of other animated sitcoms. But as far as live action is concerned, this is the best live action prime time sitcom of all time, in my opinion. I don't care what anyone says. It's better than everything. It's better than everything. This is the show that got it right. This is the show that just said fuck it. We're real. We're just gonna go out there and just tell you how we feel. God damn it. This show, man. Let me give you a little background in the show. I'm not gonna talk about the history about it. Um, but I'm just gonna tell you like what it's about and stuff like that. Because I don't know how the idea came from it, or like whose idea to thought about a great show like this. This show has its moments. It's raunchy. It's not too raunchy. It's not like you know it this show is it's like it goes there. It has its fan service. It's got its guilty pleasures. It's a show that's just like so hilarious too. Let me just start off with the characters. You got the cool dude in the middle right there, one of the real men of all time, man. Al fucking Bundy, man. Al Bundy, played by Ed O'Neill, man. He's the dude right there with the purple shirt and the gray slacks and stuff like that. Those high socks and shit like that. He's just like, yeah, you know what? He's wearing a ridiculous outfit, but he just doesn't give a damn, man. Because he's Al Bundy. He's just like, fuck it, man. He's like the Stone Cold Steve Austin of TV dads, man. He's better than Homer Simpson. He's better than Peter Griffin. I would, I don't know if I would say he's better than Randy Marsh, because Randy Marsh from South Park is hilarious, but he's definitely on that level to me. He's definitely on that level, man. He's just awesome. Right next to him, you got Bud. He's this nerdy, awkward. But he's hilarious though. He's like the Meg Griffith. He's like the Meg Griffith. I'm thinking of Jason Griffith. He's the Meg Griffin of this show. Nobody likes him. He's a social outcast. But he's fucking hilarious at times, man. He's just like he does some of the most stupidest shit just to get laid. It's just like it's so funny too. Like, there was one time he was pretending he was getting laid by this doll. He was what was the episode? Um, so funny, man. But he basically had his friends over. They all had dates. He didn't. So he was gonna pretend that he had a date. So he made a doll. He had like this doll, and he was pretending to make out with it. And he brought it upstairs, and the girls were jealous because they were like their boyfriends suck, and like Bud is actually a real gentleman. He actually talks to his girlfriend. He's taking her upstairs and stuff like that. And he almost got caught too. I forgot the episode it was. I have the complete series on DVD, but I forgot the episode it was. If anybody knows the episode of it, you leave it in the comments. But Bud is fucking awesome. He's like the Meg Griffin, but he's like way better than Meg. He's hilarious. And then you got Peg on the. I'm gonna save the dog for last. I'm gonna talk about Peg real quick. Peg, oh my gosh, she is this Fran Dresser. She, oh my god, you get like a lot of black men talking about how shitty black women are nowadays, like all these ghetto ratchet hood rats and stuff like that, who don't want to work, don't want to do shit, just want to get off the system and stuff like that, with like child support and stuff like that and welfare. Peg is like the white version of that. She's like she's got this Fran Dresser. She's this weird little hairdo. She's like typical like this fucked up redhead type bitch, man. She's so bad. It's funny. That's the thing about it. She's like so lazy. All she does is like watch like Oprah all day, and watch TV all day and stuff like that. Doesn't have a job or anything like that, and she's just like, fuck it, I'm just gonna take it from my husband. Yeah, she's like such a bitch, but she's like so like it works in this show. She's like a likable bitch just because she's so funny. There's like times where she just says some of the most outrageous shit, man. Like she never wants to cook or anything. She oh my, it's like I remember there's like numerous episodes in the series where there was one time she pretended like she was gonna order out a pizza, and she was like, oh, forgot. She had what's her name over, Marcy over, and she said something to get Al to get off the couch or something like that. He's like, I ordered you a pizza, and Al, he's stupid. He actually believed it. He was like, really? He was like a little dog just running right to right to the fucking door. And he was like, really? Peg, you know I like extra cheese. He's like, Peg, you remember to order extra cheese because I like extra cheese. This show, man, it's and then last but not least, Christina Applegate as Kelly Bundy. She's crazy. She's like so she's like in a way I kind of like wow. She's like your typical dumb blonde, but unlike other dumb blondes who are like so unlikable, she's actually like she's like she just has her moments in this show. She's just like she's something else, man. She's a trip. She man, she's like literally like I could compare her to the bestiality on Family Guy. Brian Griffin's his blonde chick. What's her name? Jillian on Family Guy. Brian's ex girlfriend Jillian on Family Guy. She's kind of like that, except she's like way cooler. She's like a cooler version of that. She's like she's just like she's naive at times. She likes cartoon. I remember there was this episode. She was like, "Oh, we don't watch cartoons. We're not kids." And then like later seasons, she's watching like Bugs Bunny and Garfield. It's just like she's one of those like sexy, ridiculous girls. She's another one, man. The cast on this show. Oh, let me talk about the other characters in the show, like Marcy, and in the first four seasons, Steve. Steve sucked. He was just boring as hell. I definitely prefer Jefferson over Steve, who I'm gonna talk about later. But Steve, he was just like your typical, stereotypical white guy who's just like, he only cares about money and stuff like that. He works at a bank, and stuff. And he becomes likable later on, like when he's befriending Al. Like when like there's this episode where Al's trying to catch a mouse, and him and Steve, they're dressed up like Ghostbusters, and Marcy and Peg are just at the table like looking at them like, wow, these guys are stupid. And they go into the basement. He's like, you thought we needed an, and Al's like, you thought we needed an exterminator. And he goes down, they just spray poison. They spray poison all over the crazy. Oh my god, this is the best sitcom ever. Best sitcom ever. Like this show, man, I can't believe I didn't watch it when I was younger. Because I remember my grandma used to watch it. Um, but she like watched it like when I was watching like cartoons in the other room and stuff like that. I always remembered the Love and Marriage theme song, and it like I would always be like, what's this show about? I kind of like wondered what it was about, but it seemed like an adult show and something that I wouldn't be interested in. So I would go in the next room, watch like cartoons or anime or something like that. And then like when I got older, I remember when I was a freshman in college and I was like bored as shit because I hated the school I went to, and I ended up flipping through the channels just trying to watch something on TV in my dorm room, and like I flipped to Married with Children. It was on TV. I forgot what channel it was on, but it was on TV, and I was just like watching it just out of boredom. I was like, wow, this show looks old. And I was just like watching it. I was like, holy shit, this show is too damn funny. I had to get it on DVD. I had to get the complete series. And the thing I hate about the complete series is like the way the DVD is like it like it's just like it's not in order. It's like, well, I mean, it's in order, but it's like the way that they put the anyone who has the Married with Children complete series on box set, you know how they have those little things where you have to like basically just pop the DVDs out. They're not in like order or anything like that. But other than that, man, I'm glad it was a great purchase, man. I got it for cheap at Best Buy. It was like 20 something bucks for like the complete series, and man, this show is just too funny, man. Like some of my personal favorite episodes of the series are obviously when it's earlier in the series. There's a mouse. um Al basically he tries to capture the mouse. Peg's like, just call an exterminator, stop being cheap. And he's like, no, fuck this, I could get the mouse. And he tries all these different shenanigans and stuff like that. It's just hilarious. You gotta watch it for yourself. I can't, like, the way I explain it, it can't do it justice how funny and awesome this show is. And another note is the dog Buck. He used to be like this really cool like big dog with like a lot of fur, and like in the picture you see now is the newer Buck. He's the same dog, same mindset, but he was told by God that he failed as a dog in his previous life, so he made him like this cute little white dog. And it's funny, man. I forgot. I got to get back to Marcy too. Marcy is like this. She's this cheesy bitch, man. She's like another nerdy. She works at a bank. Typical white chick who's like not typical, but she's just like a total geek. She's total spaz. Like, and like in the beginning of the season, like she's unlikable just because she seems like this overachieving bitch. But as the series progresses, she becomes more likable. She becomes like she's like the person you love to hate. And it's not like Vicky Guerrero on WWE or anything like that, or like like a bitch you can't stand. She's like the bitch that you love to hate. Marcy Darcy is like the bitch you love to hate, just because she's always like taunting Al Bundy. She's always taunting Al. She's always like with this feminist shit. The greatest group ever. No ma'am. No ma'am. Oh my god. Greatest group ever. This should have been a fucking wrestling stable. This should be a stable on wrestling. Like, no ma'am. Like, we're like the proud to be men, anti-feminist shit. Man, this show has so much shit. I can't even talk about it all. It's just like, it's such a good series. It was around for like I think, no, it's around for like 11 or 12 seasons. 11 seasons. I'm looking at the DVD box set. It was around for 11 seasons, from 1987 to 1997. And this show is just like some of them. I remember like there was a episode in the second season where they basically go to Florida, and they're on vacation. Al's too cheap to go to Hawaii, so they go to Dumpwater, Florida. And it's like so funny. They end up going down there, and it's the typical stereotype that Florida gets, like, oh, it's white trash, it's the South and stuff like that. It's shitty, but which is a bad stereotype on Florida's part. But this area was just like, wow, this was your typical, like, man, it was like this rundown hotel. And they basically, there's this guy's named Poppy that basically, like, he kills people like every 5 years. I think it's like every 5 or 10 years or something like that. I forgot. I gotta watch the episode again. But it's again, like, almost I can't even think of a really bad episode on this show. Like, every episode is at least watchable. That's the thing about it. It's like, even if there was a bad episode, it's at least watchable. So I can't even think of like a really bad episode. I mean, I think maybe towards like the later seasons it started going downhill a little bit. But even the later seasons were still funny. I mean, especially the spring break episode where Kelly and her friends are going to Florida. They're going to for spring break, and they basically like try to lie to Bud, because Bud and his friends, they have like these tickets to go down to Florida for spring break, and they have like air travel and all that, and basically like they try to lie and basically like imply the fact that they'll get laid by them if they give them their tickets, and it doesn't happen. And they're stupid to do this, but these typical nerds who are like so they want to get laid so bad, so they just give up their tickets and stuff like that. But and then and it's so funny. Jefferson, he goes on their spring break too, and he invites Al and what's his name, Griff, the black guy who works at his shoe store. Oh my! Again, there's so much shit to talk about in this show because I want to talk about how Al Bunny is the coolest shoe salesman ever, but there's so much to talk about in this show. It's literally, this show is like the Attitude Era of primetime sitcoms. It's literally like the original ECW of primetime sitcoms. It's that good. It's that badass, man. It's like Family Guy and South Park in their prime like can't compete with this show. Like as far as like vulgarity and like violence and sex and nudity and stuff like that, yeah, Family Guy and South Park are edgier than this show. But as far as like just being a cool show that goes there, but it's just like we don't need to curse as much, but we'll still go there. We'll still be real. We'll talk about like real problems and shit like that. That's what this show does best, and it's so funny too. That's the best thing about it. It's so funny. You know, Married with Children is like the funniest. Like, it's just like it's so relatable too. It's like this show should honestly. I don't want to see it. There's a part of me that wants to see it get remade for like a new generation that's grown up in the 2000s, the 2010s, and stuff like that. But at the same time, I don't want to see it get remade because I think that Hollywood nowadays would fuck it up. Like, but like, there's a part of me that wants to see like a newer version of this show, like a show that's similar to this show, like a show that's similar to Married with Children, but at the same time, it's not like how can I put it? It's not Married with Children. Like it's different characters, but it's basically the same show. It's basically like the same show, but it's set in like 2014 to 2010s. It's set in this era, but they like like I really want to see like a show like this done today. And some people would say like, oh, well, just watch Family Guy or American Dad because those shows are kind of like this but animated. Not really. I mean, yeah, but no. It's like, so, like I can see like Seth MacFarlane and like Ed O'Neill like coming up with a show like being like producers or creators of like this new show that's kind of like a newer version of Married with Children. I would love to see that. Because this show was just like so good. Like it really was that good. And it's like it's like so stupid to me like how no one talks about it because everyone talks like you hear people talk about like shows like Seinfeld, Everyone Loves Raymond, Friends, The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Martin, all these other different sitcoms and stuff like that. But no one ever talks about this show, and it's like annoying as hell. I'm like, dude, this is like the most underrated sitcom of all time. It's so fucking funny too. It's so relatable too. You know, and all the characters are likable. Every character on this show, every main character, even if they start out unlikable, they become funny and likable toward like the end of the series run. Like even Marcy, again, like it's every character is likable. I love Jefferson. Jefferson is probably my second favorite character on this show. He is something else, man. That guy, he's like this typical pretty boy, but he doesn't act like it. He doesn't act like your boring stereotypical pretty boy. He's funny. He's not like the Jonas Brothers or One Direction or like anything like that. He's kind of like what he reminds me of. He's kind of like kind of like Chris Jericho in the Attitude Era or Dante from Devil May Cry or something like that. He's kind of even though Dante doesn't act like a pretty boy, but it's just like he's got that coolness about him. He's just like this lazy slacker, but he's like so cool. and he's like so entertaining. Yeah, he's always hanging around Al, getting into all kinds of shenanigans and shit. But it's you gotta watch the show. Like I literally I can't even talk. I can't even bring up every single detail about this show because there's so many. It's that good of a show. Like I could bring up like how Al Bundy was like, Mister Mister High School Football, like how he scored 4 touchdowns in a single game, and like he he literally that's like the highlight of his life. But it's just like it's so this show is just so good. It's I can't even explain it. It's watch it. If you've never seen it before, watch it. Watch it. There are free episodes on YouTube on this show. If not, buy the DVD box set. It's not expensive. It's affordable. Watch it. Watch this show. I don't care what color you are. If you're black, Puerto Rican, white, watch this show. I don't give a shit. Watch this fucking show. It's that good. All right. That's basically my take on this show. I really love this show. I can't even like I want to talk more about it, but it's like so like literally it's too much to explain. You know, just watch it. It's really good. Take my word for it and watch it. All right, guys. Later.